acclimated with them and getting to know them?
I haven't really spent much time with them. My staff has been doing unbelievable work with them during the summer. They've been coming in and out, staying in shape, that sort of thing. But I purposely try to stay away from them as much as I can. They hear me enough during the year, much more than they want to, I'm sure. And it gives the coaches an opportunity to really get to know them, to develop those relationships, and for them to develop as coaches. So I'll spend my time now during the preseason or training camp portion of the season to slowly get to know who the new guys are.
With a veteran team, you always, in training camp, you said you can't skip steps. You start with square one. Is that even easier with a roster like this?
You know, it's an interesting question because it's not like there's some guys who've been here for 7 years or anything like that. So they're all kind of in the same boat. The fundamentals are really important. We have to make sure we don't leave anybody behind. You know, it's kind of like going to school. You don't want to have a classroom where 3 or 4 of the kids have no clue what's going on, and over time, over years, it shows. As you said, not skipping steps and starting with the fundamentals is important. But at the same time, they really have to play together to gain that trust, to understand how they're going to fit together and just play basketball. So it'll be a pretty good dichotomy between practice involving fundamentals and a lot of scrimmage at the same time so they can play together. So we got to do a good job of cutting out the chaff and just getting to the point and not wasting any time. Plus, I think the first preseason games begin like 4 days from now. So it's a pretty quick study. I guess you could describe it that way, or development plus, or development continues. You know, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say it anyway. What the hell? Nobody here should go to Vegas with the thought of betting on us to win the championship. And I know somebody will say, gosh, what a Debbie Downer. There's a chance. What if they work really hard? It's probably not going to happen. But that's not the point. And very honestly, I could care less. You all know what I care about, so I won't bore you to death. But the point is to develop this group and give them the best possible opportunity to have long NBA careers and enjoy the hell out of it. And whoever comes after me will have an opportunity to take them to the next level. So at this point, the job is really to start them out the right way, just like a new baby, and giving that baby all the nutrients it needs to develop properly and in the best environment. So that's our goal. Everything else will take care of itself. Whatever success we might have will come from that.
What is the type of challenge, so to speak, teaching these young guys kind of reflecting through something different?
Oh yeah, I think of each one of them more as an opportunity than a challenge. You know, a challenge sort of connotates a problem to some degree. These guys present opportunities for growth by both the coaches and the players. So each one is different, separate entity, different needs, different emotions, different buttons to push, different level of talent. And so putting that all together is, you know, it's what coaches do, and it's one of the ways you get satisfaction in the job.
What's the challenge of getting that mindset in the player to buy into that? I mean, probably won't win a championship?
Well, I trust all of you implicitly. I'm not going to say that to them, and I know they'll never hear that because you would never. They're not. No. So this is basically kind of our secret here.
What are the better odds that you win the championship, or that you can name everybody on this roster?
That might be the best question of my career. Honest to God, I walked into the film room today, and there's this young kid sitting. I said, "Who the hell are you?" Seriously, it's honest. He said, I forgot his name already. I don't know. And he said, "I just got here," and I looked at Josh. I said, "Josh, what?" He said, I know, Coach. He's new. He says, "I'll get you his bio," so we, whatever. So, and then RC's got 19 people back there doing research for this or that, and Brian Wright's got 6 people doing this over here, and so it's a miracle by the time they leave and they got a new job somewhere. I say, "Yeah, George, it was great to know you. It was great to have you here, and I wish you the best." Well, I think that knowing full well that each one is an individual, we live in a time where there's a lot of insecurity out there in people, and especially young athletes who in many situations have been coddled or treated like they're special. So notions like consistency, selflessness, discipline, to some people might be a little bit more difficult to get across than other people. So in that sense, there's the challenge that you mentioned, to make sure that everyone understands those underlying principles that make you successful, whether you're going to be a banker, a doctor, a plumber, a bus driver, God forbid, a journalist, anything like that. So that's a joy.
There's not going to be any Tony Parker treatment with this group?
No, luckily that was a phase in the past, because as I've told you often, I would have been in jail if I treated anybody now the way I treated Tony. For sure, I'd be in jail.
Who would you say is your starting point guard right now? Because the one from last year's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Jakob Pertl is our 5-man. He's starting at the 5 position. We'll go from there.
What do you lose with DeJounte not being here? Obviously, he was an all-star on the court, but he's also kind of the leadership guy.
Yeah, I mean, DeJounte's a hell of a player. And I'm confident he's going to be great in Atlanta. I miss him. It'll sound odd maybe, but I miss him more as a person than I do as a player. Players come and go as far as what they did on the court, but when you develop a relationship with somebody, it can be DeJounte Murray, or it could be Malik Rose, or it could be Matt Bonner, or whoever. Those are the things you remember about people. So he and his daughter, watching him grow as a father, and watching the things he would do in that regard are much more in the front of my mind than the triple doubles that he got or anything like that. So the basketball sort of fades when you get to know these people over time, and he was here for a good while, but we have to find somebody who's going to score those points and make those assists. And he was also a heck of a rebounder at his position. So there's a lot that we have to fill in with him not being here.
He's been here longer than anybody now. Do you see him as sort of the corporate knowledge kind of guy?
Yeah, he's been so consistent. He's such a pro. He does his work night in and night out. Every practice, every shoot around, every game. We all know that. and he's a great base. You know, he's for us, for our group right now, he's what Timmy was in those championship years. A lot of stuff comes from his example on the court, just the way he conducts himself, just the ultimate pro.
What's the inner drive or the motor that makes you want to come back?
You always ask questions like that, like it's a philosophy class. My inner motor, what drives me?
What makes you want to
My paycheck. Don't be so invasive philosophically.
Brett Brown's back in the staff.
Who's that?
Brett Brown,
No, please don't tell me that.
like guys in back around, and what ways do you
Hey, it's like, you know, not seeing one of your best buddies for a couple of years, and then you hook up again. It's one of those kind of feelings. His knowledge of the game, you know, I mean, since '99, we've shared, you know, basketball thoughts. So to have that back is very meaningful for me. It comes at the right time. As I said, as a friend, his personality, his sense of humor, he's just a fantastic human being. And so when you can combine those personal traits and friendship with the basketball skills and knowledge he has, it's wonderful to have him back.
How much of the rebuild in Philly that he was a part of and having to deal with similar type roster issues was considered with Brett? I mean, will he help you in that regard?
Oh, absolutely. You know, he's already spent the summer trying to lay out plans for the progression as far as fundamentals are concerned, and with that skip no steps philosophy that you so eloquently mentioned.
I guess because all
That.
of us here probably, this is not
It's okay.
to be personal, all of us here have a day every offseason when we think, we really want to do this again, can we find something else to do?
Ooh, that's a tricky way to get into that. Ooh, very good.
I'm just saying it's not about
So we got, you know, what's that commercial where they say so-and-so, the sailor, the guy, what's that? Mr. Obvious? Captain Obvious right here. And Captain CIA over here.
Do you have a day every offseason where you contemplate whether or not you want to come back or not?
Absolutely. I'd be a liar if I said anything different. Yeah, especially that second glass of wine. It's like, what the hell am I doing? You know, so, yeah. It's the best job in the world.
When were you sure that you were going to come back this year? Early in the offseason?
Tommy James slept overnight with me last night and made me give him an answer by midnight. So last night, midnight, he was all over me.
Bob, your thoughts on Becky winning the championship?
Oh my, one of the greatest days of the summer for me and for the coaches. We went to her second game in Vegas. I believe it was the second game. They lost their first one, right? We saw the win in Vegas and got to see her team and give her a big hug, and all the coaches were there. So lots of love and lots of joy, you know, that particular evening. But in a larger sense, you know, I miss the heck out of her. You know, she's there at every meal on the road for those years that she was here. Helped me be a better coach. She's a lovely person. Just any time we're able to spend with her is a real joy. So to say I was thrilled for her success would be an understatement. We had all the video guys over at my house watching Game 4, you know, having a little beer, a little food, and just cheering and going back and forth, up and down, you know, yelling and screaming, just like I'm sure some of you did. So, yeah, she's been fantastic. Did a hell of a job. Well, no different for Keldon than anybody else in the sense of taking the next step. Keldon became a pretty good three-point shooter last year, but now it'll be more leadership, decision-making in important situations of the court, where we know in the fourth quarters last year, Brett Brown gave me some sort of stat, but in the fourth quarters, we had problems executing. Who's our go-to guy? What are we going to do? Who's going to score? That kind of thing. So in that respect, his decision-making and his confidence in those situations will be important. Devin Vassell's in the same boat as far as that's concerned. So each of them will just have to take another step, in their progression.
Can you tell us about Keldon's injury,
I think he comes back 4 or 5 days before the first game, something like that. I mean, the first real game. But there's no he's just rehabbing now, getting it stronger. He can't have contact, but I think he's going to be fine. He won't be in as good a shape as we want, probably, but he'll be okay.
If not an NBA championship, how do you define success?
Just in their development. Even when we were winning championships, it wasn't about wins and losses. We never told any of you how many wins we thought we'd have that year, or we thought we were going to win a championship that year. Never came out of my mouth. So it was the same standard then as it is now, to be the best team we could possibly be by the end of the season. And that's what we go for.
I think the opportunity to play in Mexico City and such an important year for the Spurs, and also most of the players have never been in Mexico or haven't played in Mexico. How important is that to the Latin audience or Latin fans?
Well, I guess you're going to have to ask them that, but hopefully it's a thrill for them, to see NBA players. I think we play Miami when we go, I think. So between those two teams, I'm hoping that the fans in Mexico will really enjoy it, see how exciting an NBA game can be. We're looking forward to it. I love going to Mexico City. A lot of people they just think it's a giant city. They don't realize how beautiful it is, the museums, the restaurants. It's a great place to spend time. So we're looking forward to it. I don't know where I was. I was someplace this summer, and I was trying to make it look like I really was taking care of it, and I did something, and half of it was gone, so I had to shave it all off. There was no rhyme or reason. I just did it.
We saw you in Springfield, didn't get a chance to talk to you. What were your emotions like with Manu's Hall of Fame induction and being able to witness that?
Oh, obviously it was a great time. He was so he was basically scared to death for the last 9 months or whatever it was before he had to do this, and making a speech and figuring out who to invite, and he leaves somebody off the list, they're going to be angry with him for life, all that kind of thing. So we gave him a lot of static all the way up to it, but of course it was an honor to be there, to see him. As he said in his speech, growing up in Bahia Blanca, that's the last thing on his mind. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame. Who says things like that? Certainly not Manu. And to be there was pretty special. And it was great because his 3 boys, of course Monty, but the 3 boys seeing their dad do that was beyond cool. So it was one of those very special evenings that none of us will forget.
Follow the ways that players across the league kind of spoke out and push for the
As you might guess, no, I didn't follow any of the media opinions or speculation or opinions. I don't know who said what about any of it, but I do have the general sense that there was a groundswell that grew, and we know the outcome. So everything is out there. You know.
Have you had a chance to see the new personnel kids? Your thoughts on those players?
No, I don't have any opinions on new players at all at this point. It would be unfair to them because they, unlike me, probably will read some of the things that you guys put out there. Or when I say read, I mean see it on their phones. I don't mean sit there with the newspaper like me. I mean, they're looking on their phones, you know. They're going to be twitting and twatting and all that kind of stuff.
Without specific scouting reports on those guys, is it fair to say that the first round picks next year probably have a better chance to play for the big San Antonio Warriors?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there'll be some guys getting minutes much quicker than they might have expected, which is also it's fun to just throw them in the fire and see who survives. You know, see who needs what. Somebody needs more confidence. Somebody needs a kick in the butt. Whatever it might be. So it'll be interesting.
Coach, what do you think it'll mean to this fan base in the city to see you guys play back in the outfield?
Oh, I think they'll get. I'm looking forward to it. You know, those were great days for the city. The place was always pretty much packed. I think it moved with every dribble. It was like you never knew what was going to happen in there. But you know, the days of Iceman and his crew all come back to you when you walk into the Alamo Dome for sure. So I think playing there is very cool. I like it.
Hawk, how's your 50th anniversary celebrity itself? Spurs and San Antonio, but what has San Antonio been to Spurs?
I would say that more than anything, it's been kind of like the comfort zone, or the womb, so to speak. We all know when we come back from vacations or that sort of thing, it's always good to be home, but we always feel like that as a group, as a team. And I've been here for quite a while now, and it hasn't changed from way back in the 80s to now, where you feel that love. You feel it all the time, win or lose. You actually feel it. People live and die with what happens, and when you see people around town, 99.99% of them are thrilled to see you, and they're happy with what the team does in the community. So to have that, it's like a given that it's a love that's basically always there, and it's unconditional. They fall in love with the players, and the players realize that and appreciate it.